on, what's it, decorate?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that whole thing, going flights. Yeah.
Good morning. How are you?
I am good. How are you guys?
Doing great.
That's right.
I didn't print off on the one agenda. There's not.
Yes, I actually got that. So, yes. Now, I didn't see that.
Really interesting. But
Did you see something on the computer here? If guaranteed to be the records I say, it still shows it's offline. I've gone through everything. I can't see anything, but if you can see something like this, I'm still using wireless. That's it or not.
Should be.
I don't think so. But
Yeah.
I'll just leave this in. What's that? That's good. get to work. You get to work.
I'm sure it was one.
All right, at 9 o'clock, call the order of the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda as written. Are there any additions or corrections to the agenda? Were you wanting to get on the agenda today? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, it's been properly moved and seconded to approve the
I'll
agenda.
second it.
You seconded it? I'm sorry, I thought
I was waiting. Yeah, she moved and I'll second it.
Okay, been properly moved and seconded to approve the agenda as written. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. We'll wait just a little bit in case anybody wants to come in the office. We'll take care of a little bit of housekeeping stuff here. And next week, can you come in at 9 instead of 9:15 because we have the judges are coming in with the architects at 9:30, so we can get through everything here. Okay, perfect. So, Christie, make a note of that. We'll move the bridge to 9. Okay, we got some payroll changes. All of these are in the budget. Okay.
Just first from the sheriff's office, it doesn't have anything. It just says office.
What's the name?
Neefeld.
Then we have some tax changes here. These are signed up. No signature on the offices, so I'll make sure.
Just these officers for this one, Christie. I'm sorry. Is that Dustin?
Yes.
That's adult community corrections.
And down to our sheriff.
Yes.
I never said. I guess we should have ever signed it, so.
Yep. show a copy to maybe is okay with
And then they'll have
that. After they're approved. Okay. Last week's, we couldn't approve those last week because you weren't here to meet, so you can read those. Okay. There was some minor corrections in there, there was some verbiage that I had corrected, so. So I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of August 20th.
So moved.
Okay, I'll second that. It's been properly moved and seconded that we approve the minutes of August 25th.
I'll send that over here.
Okay, hearing no further, is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say no. Carried. Has everybody read the second yet? Have you read the second? The minutes from the second?
I have.
Okay, we'll wait on that. All right, Scott, jump in there.
Okay. We had another road that had some damage on it, 102 between B4 and X. The sheriff's department contacted us, and there was an individual that got stuck down there in Russell's drive shaft for the road. So I got it done, put together to the sheriff's department and take care of that. Just FYI, since we've been kind of getting on people for damaging county property, we've collected a little over $15,000 from guardrails to messed up roads, all to being crushed. So hopefully people stay off our road. It sounds like this, they didn't give me a name. It sounds like it's a person from Jeff County.
Bet that that's a minimum maintenance road,
Yes.
so they were bidding on it.
Yep.
Carried it out.
Yeah. Salt bids we sent out, and the 5th was our deadline to get back. We only received one.
Just one, huh?
Just one.
All right. Open that, read that.
So this is a bid from Central Salt. It says, Central Salt would like to submit a bid price of $59.79 a ton,
$59.79 a ton.
a hot ton delivered.
Look. How does that compare to what?
I didn't check what it was last year.
Is this who we normally buy from?
Someone
Central Salt?
who's usually done it in the past, this is salt,
Okay.
that can work.
Central Salt.
That's been around 400 tons. Right now, we've got about 5 loads down at what's for okay down there for us. For years.
Speak a little louder.
I say we've got about five loads down the one strip of salt and sand, so we should be good down there. We'll probably do a little bit down here, so after that, it'll probably be next year before we need any more. In pretty good shape.
How many people did we send out?
4.
We sent out 4, we only got 1. So what is our obligation, Todd, for only getting 1 back? Or did we meet our obligation by sending out 4 requests? I mean, I would
We had
say
no response.
Yeah, no response. So
Yeah, well,
I want to make sure that everybody understands this is the only response we got. So then I will entertain a motion to purchase salt for 400 tons.
Well,
Is that
I would put money. That's just an estimate.
that's just a guesstimate? Okay, so purchase salt in the amount of $59.79 a ton delivered.
it's like just a little bit more
Sure.
conversation about that. So you're saying that's an estimate of 400 tons,
Yes.
not to exceed what? Okay, so, okay,
We never put that in our, like I said, in our, do they have a sheet there with that? A lot of times it's in the sheet.
No.
I can get that.
so authority to purchase up to 400 tons. Incorrect.
The bid doesn't require you guys to bid, they have to run or anything, it's just as needed? Okay.
Prove that it's low bid, but for road and bridge to, has approval for purchase up to 400 tons and not to exceed that.
And again, that's just an estimate, I believe we have that in there, estimated 400 tons.
And what does that line item do for your budget? I mean, we have that,
Yeah, we've got a salt and sand, but
right, and how much do you
we
have?
got it. Part of it we used earlier this year, in January, February. Usually how that works is we'll get what we need right now, and then that usually works out to where it gets us until next year. He's out there. We've got just under $10,000 left in our salt budget right now for that. Around 9,000.
But if you purchase 400 tons,
We're not going to purchase.
you're not going to purchase 400. You're not going to exceed your budget. No. Okay. I just want to make that clear.
Yeah, because on our deal, we go for the 25-26 season. That's what we're putting in.
So approve the low bid, not to exceed 4%.
But for the purchase as needed.
So moved.
Okay.
Then I'll second.
You get a second. Been properly moved and seconded to approve the bid from Central Salt in the amount of $59.79 a ton delivered, not to exceed 400 tons.
As needed.
As needed, purchased as needed. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Okay, we, a while back, we sent out applications for a couple grants, for one of the local, local bridge projects, and the other ones for off-bridge system projects, and we declined on both of those. That's good. Those. You guys want something writing about this deal down the way on the chip and seal. I did check in with KDOT, and there is nothing about we have to chip and seal up to the next intersection on an FAS route. That when you get into the city limits, you want
We go from county to city limits.
city limits, and unless you want to do the green, that's whatever. Email KSA or from KDOT stating that it's basically what we work out with the city, our responsibility to work out with the city. And I do have a memorandum from the city. You guys want to avoid
Yeah, I'd like to see it. Just
go that way or not. Basically, what it is we go from the city limits on the south end up to 110. We would go ahead and chip and seal at 900 feet. On their end, on the north end, half of the road is probably about 500 feet is county, half of it is city. So rather than split half of the road down the middle like that, is they would be responsible for both sides down to Burnett Street.
Do you have any idea, did they give KDOT give any indication where the 16 projects or the 11 projects were located at that they awarded the grants to?
No, that's all.
That's all you got? Okay. I'm interested in knowing that.
Well, that's kind of odd, you know, I think the one said they had like $83 million in the fund, and there's only 73 submitted. That's why I did that.
Yeah, yeah.
70 or 73 Okay, on Matt's side there, again, we had weather last week, so we didn't get that 8-foot pipe put in, that was 236, so that's got our plan this week, just to put that in, not by very late. We did haul quite a bit of rock up on the parallel of 286, between I and M, because it was in pretty bad shape. So we got quite a bit up there. It's completed now. We're working on 278 a little bit, with some rock on it also, because that's the road we pulled the ditches in, and so we're going to do. The two we talked about last week, with cutting it off, the extra that we had out there in the field, it's been cut off and removed. So we're
Consider that
done with that.
Yeah.
Ditching wise, we're down on J, 106 to 110, still working there, and that's about what we got going on. And Brandon, I talked to him a little bit about grading his area, because he's off the year-run project, and so he's been back in his area. Galen has also been covering down there, helping him out, so Brandon's lost work with his road for pretty decent shape.
Okay, well, we just got another text this morning that is indicating that they're not, and so I don't know.
Did he tell what road he's talking about?
No, I don't believe so.
That always helps. People
Yes,
know
this is true.
where they're talking about.
maybe it would be to your advantage or the county's advantage to just drive out there and take a look yourself and just spend a half hour driving around some of those roads and just make sure that what Brandon's saying is in good shape and just take a look. I guess that's just my thoughts. Throw set
I
eyes
mean,
on.
no, it didn't say anything about what roads, just a few of them have been bladed here and there. But there is no indication of what roads it is actually looking at. So, if we don't know the roads, then it's kind of hard to.
It is.
So, but just go out, like he said, go out and drive it and look at them and see what you see.
And I've been on this bridge project I've been talking to you guys about the things not being on inventory. And so I have been driving a ton of roads. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
It's been a lot.
I got the email that you sent about the VN-106 culvert replacement. Are they using that as a?
The company, I sent a copy to Ally too. They have it on one of the brochures.
Well, that's no. This is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's their brochure.
Okay.
And, showing what they've done and what we've done.
Sure. Okay. You already hit on 286, so I was going to mention that. Fuel system, where are we at on that?
There was a confusion last week. Apparently, Jim was supposed to have a web meeting with Techonet, and she thought that Techonet was sending out the invite, and they thought she was sending out the invite. So nobody got invited to this meeting, and so now it's set up for this Wednesday.
Okay.
So,
GPS system with Samsara.
yeah, we had our meeting with Matt and Jeannie last week. I like where we're headed. It's just getting with the forms and all that. Again, it's just getting. We did come up with some different ideas last week that kind of new. We thought we had a panic button, what they call panic button, in John Strong's truck, but that's taken out, so I got to buy some put it back in. Basically, what we're looking at is the guy gets in the truck out at the yard, he hits that button, so he starts there, and then he goes to the quarry, picks up rock, takes it to the road, dumps it, hits the button again. Let's just track his time, his mileage, everything. And then what I want to do is when he hits that button that second time is go and have a drop down on his form and go there and say 10 tons here. Or if you split the load, 5 tons here, 10 tons here.
Which that's going to be approximate. Yeah.
Right. And so like I said, that's kind of what we're looking at. And we talked to Jeannie and Matt, and they're thinking that will work. It's just get that button put back in so we can test that clear. Gene's acting like it's not going to be a big deal for Samsara to talk back and forth with SLARs. We did run across the field last week. Over the years, before hauling, Gene suggested to make our our list down smaller. We have all in rock, we have all in dirt, we have all in sand, we have all in salt, blah, 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 all in all. Just make one deal in there under hauling. And whatever you're saying in your material that you're using, that will tell you what you're hauling. So she's wanting us to go in and minimize our list that we have. That way when the drivers go through, they're not having to search through
They're not.
200 or 300 things here, but they're just hauling. Like I said, the material that you put down, that you select, will tell them what you're hauling, whether it's rock or dirt or whatever. So that's a little homework on our side. Jeannie is sending Matt in the STAR program. If I work on Kieffaber, instead of driving, I work on Kieffaber, and I have to write down Kieffaber 94th to 102. Okay. STAR program, you can go in there and you can hit, just type the letter K, and it will pull up all the roads on K, 94, 102, 102, 106, 106, 102. Has all them broken down. Samsura doesn't have that information, so Jeannie sent him last week that information so that on a drop down, whenever the guys go in with the form, that they can go in and type in the letter K, and then pull up all the K roads, and then select, this is where I was at. If the GPS that reflects that works, we could eliminate that also, because it will know where it was at and pick that on that.
Just because it's dropping a pin there.
Right, right. So, two different things working on there. One is the pin drop, basically. The other is that pulling off that list of where it's actually at. And also the tonnage and what you spend there. Again, to me, from my side of it, I like what we're doing. I think it's a time. It's just getting.
No, it's okay, so the panic button, or the drop button, essentially, will that just be in the straight dump trucks? Would be in the belly dumps, would it? Because those are,
You could.
you're not going to really.
You could. It'd be the same as, if you were going to take a little rock out to the road.
I mean, those you're not going to.
As you pull up, you hit the button and down.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not. You're not going to have a partial load on those or anything like that.
Oh, you're going to have full load.
Yeah.
Well, I said when it pulls up, it's 25 tons.
Okay.
Every time.
Okay.
Like I said, it's a developmental thing.
Sure.
We are developing
And
with them.
once again, I'll come back to you. What are we going to get out of this when being the test dummies?
I don't know.
I think that's a conversation that I'll be having with both of them, because they're both Samsara and Stars, because that is going to be a selling point for Samsara and Stars both. And most people use Stars anyway.
83 counties and 105.
Okay. So that's going to be a selling point. So you know what? I think I would be having a conversation. What are we going to get out of this when this is done?
Because do they have a time frame on it or anything?
No, we've been all over with that.
It was supposed to have been done already.
I know,
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
Like I said, it's the time frame has not been met that we had really talked about. We know that. It's been difficult because there for a while, Matt was thinking that we had rights to go in and make changes on these forms, and we did not. And I kept telling him that. I just went, well, you can do anything I can do it. Well, when he finally come into the office here, yes, he could do it. We could not. So we sat down and we got our forms kind of up to where we wanted them at that point. But like again, after visiting with these different ideas and stuff, we're needing to change the form again. If decide to go that route, if it's about to work, like I said, we got a little homework on our side to do.
Well, that's the thing too. How much are we spending? Or you keep track of your time and hours that we're actually spending labor wise.
We're spending very little time. Very little time. Because Jim and Mary aren't really even messing with it at all. They go in. When Matt comes in and starts talking about, well, change this form, change that form, and both of them were like, oh my God, there's so much work we gotta do, you know? It's not, it's change the form one time, the form's done, and then it's collecting data. And pull the data from those forms, you know, once the driver fills it out, pull it from the form to start, and be thinking that's not gonna be any big deal there.
Okay. All right.
And next time if we have a meeting, if you guys want to come and visit, I'll let you know.
Okay.
We'll do that.
Do we need a different memorandum of understanding, or we can maintain the one that we've had with the city of Boyd?
We've never had one.
So you need action on this.
I do.
Okay.
If you get it, that's what you guys want to do.
I think it would be to the benefit of the commission and the road and bridge to, in the future, to have a memorandum of understanding, so everybody, it's a findable document.
Yeah.
We know what's gonna be done.
Could we put that off for next week? I'd like a chance to read that, look it over.
But
Or
it's pretty basic, it just needs some numbers filled in there, the dates.
So, okay, so it's just this one page, not everything, okay.
Yeah, it's just one page, and 2 pages, page or paragraph. If it's something we can fill in some dates and.
Have you contacted Boyd, are they agreeable to something like this?
They're the ones that made this up.
They're the ones that made this?
I talked to Becky, she was on board down there a few weeks ago, and she brought it to them, and I believe the gentleman that works with them is representing.
We trust that attorney?
Well, let's say for the record, for my own preservation, I had no end or discussion, creation of that document. So, and nor would I review it if presented to me because it would be copied. We'd have to get independent review. Didn't feel as necessary.
So if we can scan it in and change the dates and get it passed, it's up to you.
And Becky asked a question, I didn't have that on there too, is,
Just for clarification, Becky is a city council member
for Hoyt.
for Hoyt, the city of Hoyt, and also works for Jackson County Road.
Yes, yes. So her question was, does that mean that we would take care of the culverts and the road and all that stuff up there? I don't know, no. This is just chip and seal only. From city limits in one town and then really have the north side.
Then that needs to be stated in here because the way this is written, it says the county will maintain that portion of Eastern Avenue, line south from the intersection, blah, blah, blah. And it doesn't say this is strictly for chip and seal.
Servicing the road.
Yes.
So we want to have council look at it and then, no?
No, I can't look at it, we have to be independent.
So if you can send that back with them and say, you need just be specific about service.
Yeah, I mean, that's the first thing I see, and if we're not maintaining culverts and ditches and everything else,
Yeah,
this is just strictly service agreement. Then that needs to be specifically spelled out.
I don't think they need to be in a couple of weeks.
Right, well, we're not gonna be doing anything with it until later anyway, or for 5 years from now, whatever it is, so, yeah, okay.
That's all I have, unless you guys.
Do we got anything else? No, I think I'm good.
We are having phone issues down there at the city department. I called Giant last week. The handheld part, the cordless, it's not charging. So I called Giant last week. They're supposed to be back with me last Friday, and they never did. So we're going to see right now. So if people are saying, well, they won't pick that up, we can't.
Yeah.
Well, I did last week, is when it would ring, I'd run over there and get the number and call back on the cell phone real quick. So,
Sure.
Cost you.
Have you put that out, that you're having phone issues, put that out on the website, you're having phone issues, so, okay. You might put that out on your website, not the week website, and county website, just so we get that word out that they're having issues, so, okay. All right, sounds good. And don't forget next week, 9 o'clock. All right, perfect. Thank you. Todd, you got anything for us today?
Oh, boy, do
All right.
Everybody's done. Updates for legal matters, lawsuits. It appears that, if you did not know, the court here dismissed Mr. Willett's claims in full. My understanding is the offer has been made and accepted that Mr. Willett's going to dismiss the claims and his appeal on agreement with the county. So I'm assuming that would be the court matter. So there's, obviously a dismissal doesn't end the case if somebody wants to appeal, but it appears he's not doing it. So we'll see. And just keep kind of the record complete. The only thing else remaining would be the solar case, which is now in the Tenth Circuit. It's filed, it's ongoing, so those timelines are pretty extended. I don't know if we can see anything on that. They haven't briefed anything yet, so it's
And this was a case that was
dismissed.
dismissed once, and now it's been appealed.
Yeah. From the federal district court to the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals in Denver. We'll just see where that goes from there as anyone's guess. If they do reverse it, it would come back to the district court to proceed further, as if it were a regular case. Okay. We got contact back from EMS. I didn't know if you had a chance to look at that yet or
I glanced at it.
not. Okay.
You do some work.
Well, I just didn't know if it was, I mean, you asked for that information, and they provided what they did.
Yeah, have you seen that, Keith? I think that's what you're kind of wanting was the scheduling.
Yeah, I did look at it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I guess that's the only question. The last word was that we hadn't seen that yet, so I was.
Yeah, I'm satisfied with what I looked at.
Okay, all right. Just saw, I don't know if that was discussed, but there was a, I guess I need to ask, are you happy with the way they went with the signatures for the pressure needs thing? Or you need to address that? Okay. Just tax sale update, journal entry draft is completed and finalizing numbers. Treasurer, once we get that finalized, we'll file a motion to get it on Saturday. I don't think I saw, I thought Kurt was going to send me a lease, farm lease for the property on this investment farming work, if I remember wrong.
He was going to update we wanted to update the lease agreement for the hay ground, and I don't know if he got it done or not.
Updated in what way?
Updated from what it was as far as length, and I was questioning whether it was our duty to go in and if army worms came on the hay ground, it's our duty to go in and spray.
Sure.
Why is it our duty not to lease over?
It's our property.
I was missing it because I don't have the lease. The lease may designate, we don't do.
You don't require a leaser to come in and spray the property from you. It's the owner.
We require them to fertilize it, right?
I don't think we require them to, but it's to their benefit to fertilize it.
And spray for noxious weeds.
I don't believe we require them.
I think that, well, here again, my point on that was, when I looked at the hay leases for ground out at Prairie Lake, which the city owns, I believe that was part of the responsibility of whoever got the lease was to it was their duty to spray for noxious weeds and take care of the property, so that I would think that Army worms would be coming right in there along with that, but that's,
I mean, so, I don't, unless it's specifically laid out in the lease, I wouldn't sign a lease though that required me to do that. Because typically the landowner and the leaser share a responsibility
Sure.
when it comes to spraying, whether it's for noxious weed, bugs, whatever it is. I would, as a someone who pays a lot of ground, I would not sign a lease saying it's my full responsibility.
then I would look at saying it's split cost or something, because I don't think it's our responsibility our full responsibility to go in there, if Army worms come in, just take care of the spray for them. I mean,
I guess I see it the opposite because it's our property,
right?
and if Army worms kill it, we don't have our own anymore.
True.
And so,
And that's where we're at right now, like 50 acres.
That's the question I have is first, I don't have a lease. So I don't
Yeah.
know. If it does apportion it, then that's one thing. If it doesn't, then we've got to kind of go back to, okay, what is assumed when?
you can make up the lease to say anything you want.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm just saying from a producer's side of things, I wouldn't sign a lease like that and pay what they're paying an acre. It's just not feasible.
So,
And that may be all in the
I don't know.
price of the
yeah,
conception of the lease, right?
Correct, and it should be up to the landowner's responsibility. It is up, in my opinion, it's up to the landowner's responsibility to inspect the property. If something's coming into it bug-wise, it's their responsibility to come in. Most leases are annual, not multi-year leases. But as a landowner who would lease property or lease property out, I'm going to take the first step and make sure. So I would think it would be, as Kurt is the Banner Lake director, he needs to be out there as soon as he finds out that there is a possibility. He needs to be doing an inspection or calling in K-State or the extension office and have them look at it and then develop a plan. Then reach out, if we have it in the lease, then you reach out to the person who's leasing it and say, look, it's going to cost $13 an acre to come in and spray this for Army ones. I'd like to split that with you if it's in the lease.
that's what I'm saying. It's not in the lease right now. It's not in the lease right now.
So it's our
I don't know.
responsibility.
Well, yeah, but I know it's our responsibility right now, but I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. I think it
Yeah,
needs
so
to be
that's,
written in.
the change in the lease, I was thought the question was whether right now we can say one way or the other.
No,
Okay.
because it's not in there right now.
Okay.
But I don't, and Kirk didn't know noxious weed was in there either.
Yeah. So again, the county can put anything they want in there, but I think they have to be prepared that they're not going to get, I don't know what it was, $80, $85 an acre. Nobody's going to pay that. I wouldn't think they would pay it and have to take on the full responsibility of
I
all
was willing to look at splitting the cost of it, because like I said, that's coming in out of their pocket too.
The question is, if you lease, 100 acres and half of it's lost to the Army worms, they still pay $85 an acre. Do they get half off, or do they
It would be up, in my opinion, it would be up to the landowner to go back in and receive no-till.
And that's what he's going to have to do on that 50 acres right now.
But if he's losing out on half of the field, if he had 85 acres, is the county responsible for refunding or paying that half?
That's,
I think ultimately the husbandry is you would have this,
The what?
the husbandry of the property would dictate that you would replant, but that doesn't solve what happened right there. So I guess, I don't want to belabor the point if it's just the case you guys are going to say, let's kill, spray the worms, kill them, and reseed. If you think that's our responsibility, and the lease doesn't say otherwise.
The lease doesn't say it now, it is our responsibility.
Okay.
I mean, the way
you're exactly right, if the lease is not saying now, luckily, one of the leaseholders came and saw some damage and came out and sprayed. So, you know, that was a good thing, but, that was when I started questioning Kurt, wasn't that a responsibility anyway, he said, I don't think it's in the lease right there. So,
And I would think, I believe it's up to Kurt to be out inspecting this, especially if Brawl was put up later, after the 4th of July typically, that's when you really need to pay attention to it, especially if you have a wet year like we've had this year. Armyworms tend to thrive in that kind of condition.
Yep.
So I would be out doing some spot checking, making sure.
and that's what he was doing, that's when he found that
Who was?
Kurt.
Only after.
No, not after, I mean, he saw him over on the other side when he was doing his inspection too, from what I understand.
Okay. Yeah, it's just one of those things, that
Yeah.
it's unfortunate.
Yep.
But if you want to put that in there, if you want to add all that stuff in there, and you can get somebody to sign that lease, right? Leases can be, when it comes to farm ground, and
Oh, yeah.
be anything you want,
Yep.
as long as two parties agree to it.
So, but you haven't got it yet, so.
Yeah, I don't know
Let
what
Christie reach out to Kurt and that you need to,
Well, I need it if you guys want that change for the next time.
well, like I said, Kurt was talking about doing some changing in there, so.
Yeah, okay, so that, but and I haven't seen anything yet, so.
Okay.
And the lesson here is, I'm assuming somebody can keep it Kurt, keep an eye on those properties, because that would be.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the best solution. We're gonna take it on. And you're right, it probably makes sense since it's our real estate, so we manage it. So somebody could have an eyes on it. I think we need an executive session, for 20 minutes at least, for attorney-client privilege with clerk, for claims made against the county.
Come over anytime, I'll give you a tour.
Yeah, we're back in.
Okay, we're back in regular session, no action taken.
Remaining things, I mean, I think you guys are aware of the solar, regs. Just, Kate did send me the notice, and there's, as you would expect, there's probably going to be a few rules and for public comment on that, just to keep it orderly. So those have been reviewed and sent out. So I think they're planning on doing that coming up. I don't know my availability for those meetings, so it'll be dicey, but presumably, with the clear rules, everybody will behave themselves. We have public comment. hopefully product back to you guys. And I reviewed the changes they made, commented on them, nothing striking, nothing controversial to my mind. So we'll talk about that when we get the final product. And I think that's my list. Okay?
I'd like to just have a little bit of conversation here. We've talked about township form of government a couple of different times. I'd like to have a little bit more conversation about that. Maybe, Todd, that can be something that you can help with some research. But in our last conversation about it, some of the townships don't have, if you went to a form of government where they had their own maintenance, their own blade operator, their own, they probably wouldn't generate enough revenue off property taxes, but that's something we need to do some research on. Can you combine one or two or more townships and create a board for, say, a soldier in Jefferson? I'm just using that as an example. But then you get near Halton, you may want to include Franklin and Banner. That type, but you get down some of these other townships may not need to. If you went individual boards and you did all, you had 15 townships, if you went individual townships, then can we determine what our current budget is for road and bridge and take a portion of that and then just divide it evenly among each of those, whatever that number is. Try to, figure out what number does it take for an employee, for a maintainer, those needs. That's question number 2. So I guess the research would be for you to determine, can we do that? If so, how that process would work. And then, we can boil down what the responsibilities would be for each of those townships. Once we got to the point where, we could move ahead with this. Would it be simply blading the roads and hauling gravel?
Question.
Yeah.
And from my understanding of the township form of government in each of the surrounding counties, the county itself does not have a road and bridge budget, I do not believe. The townships themselves
That is correct.
set a mill levy to do whatever they want to their townships.
You're correct.
And so,
And that's why I'm asking, can we still have a township form of government where you have a board of trustees, but they do not have the authority to set a mill? Because some of those townships are.
and that's what we got down
And
here.
so can we fine tune that by going, okay, we're still collecting all the taxes. If Banner Township, their board of trustees comes in and says, hey, county commission, we're going to need an increase of $50,000 this year, then we would still be the conduit of collecting the taxes, raising the mill levy. That information would be available. I don't know if that's possible. I'm just trying to have a conversation and think through this. Is there a way to do this and make it equitable for all townships? Because the last thing I want to do is create a form of township maintenance where Banner maybe doesn't have a lot of residents in it, it's all farm ground, and they only get $50,000. But
Yeah,
you take a Douglas or one of those, and they're getting $500,000. So, and I'm not saying that's what the numbers are. I'm just using that as an example. I just want to continue the conversation. I think it's important that we do this, and we look at the different avenues of what we can do. Because I believe, as a commissioner, there is a valid point to having a 3-person trustee board who they can deal with that maintainer. They can be dealing with that, those road issues because it's localized, and their opinions then would be from the people who live around it. I think there's a valid point.
You're correct, there is a valid point there, I do agree with that. It's just the fact of how do we divest ourselves, the county as a whole, from the financial portion of it, because I don't think that you're never going to satisfy everybody when it comes to the roads. You're never going to do that.
How do you do? How do you separate, you mean?
How do you separate? How do you determine this township gets more than this township, because you can't do it equally. It's not
that's what I'm asking Todd to look into. Is there a possibility to do it equally?
Each township has their own value,
Correct.
so we would make work off that value backwards.
And that's where to me you get the upper class and the lower class, and the lower class is not going to get as much as the upper class. If you're going to do it equal, you got to do it equal, and that's not fair.
And that's what I've asked. But that's what I'm asking.
I'm hearing what you're saying. Yes.
And I'm asking, can we create a township trustee board without giving them taxing authority, but taking their input so that if we're still the conduit for taxation, they come to us with their recommendation, and so that if we collect $1 million for road and bridge, and we divide that by all 15 townships, what does that number look like? I don't know. I just want to continue the conversation. I just want to see what the possibilities are out there. I don't have all the answers, but I do know we need to continue this conversation, because I believe there's. I think Luke made a great point that being in that area and seeing those roads every day, I think there is a possibility that we could get better quality roads. Is how do we get there? How do we divide that money in? How do we make sure that Banner isn't getting way less than Washington or Adrian or whatever that may look like? I just want to explore it. I just want to see what's out there and what's available. I don't know, maybe our hands are completely tied, but I think I have to believe there's a way that we can get there to do this. Road and Bridge would still be responsible for certain responsibilities, kind of like what Shawnee County does. They still have a Road and Bridge department. Shawnee County does. They still have a budget for Road and Bridge. It's just each, Soldier, Minokan, all those different townships, they have their mill levy, and they collect it. Maybe it involves having public meetings from, working with each, a public meeting with each township, and everybody who's in that township come to that meeting, and we can have the information that Christy can get, saying, well, here's what your tax, what's the word you just used? Valuation. Thank you. Here's what it is, and if you were your own board, here's the money you would generate. Are you okay with increasing that so that you have enough money to operate? And we can have the information. Here's what it's going to cost you to have a maintainer. Here's what it's going to cost you to have an employee, benefits, all those types of things. Or maybe we continue to, in some way, supply benefits, because when you're a group, health insurance is cheaper than them trying to get it. I don't know. I just want to continue that, so
I'm sure that as far as the benefits, that the county would continue to.
So, do they become a county employee if they're a township board?
The township board, no.
I don't believe members do not. Yeah, board members would not. The trustees would not.
But I have a question for you, Christy. So, at the last election where we elected township folks, how many were elected? How many
I think it was less
actually
than a half
have?
dozen.
Yeah, I mean a handful.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
But you have to understand, Mark, if we have public meetings with each, so I would take all the townships in my district. I would have a public meeting, say, okay, Adrian, everybody from Adrian, if you have an interest in this, come on this night, let's have the conversation, here's the numbers. But they would have to know that it's gonna be your responsibility to elect a trustee board for that. And if no one is elected, then we go from there. I mean, because right now, people understand that there is no trustee, so that's why nobody
I
runs
think
for
if you
that.
had an active township board.
For sure.
There is no responsibility, but I mean, yeah, I agree with you that, having a township board and getting response from the township board as far as, okay, here's what we see, you know, road XYZ needs worked on, it's pretty bad, and, you know, this is what we think you need to concentrate on. And then I believe that from there that we could, as the county, set up the project list from there. But here's the kicker too now. I mean, I'm not really in favor of going from going to the township board or township type of governance. I'm just not in favor. I'm willing to listen to it. I'm willing to have the township boards and get the input from them that they're getting from their constituents to give to us so that we can work things out as far as setting up the projects and things. But, you know, and you were exactly correct. If there is a road or a 2 or 3 roads up in Danner or, as we heard today, 286 parallel, you know, that have been neglected or whatever. But therein lies a rub too, where everybody's going to think their roads are being neglected.
But when you have that township form of government, you have 3 trustees, and they have a road, they have a maintainer, and they have a dump truck, they get to deal with that on their own. They get to make the determination, okay, we're going to run out the hams on that road or whatever it is, and we're going to get gravel, and if they decide that they're going to put all their gravel budget on F road, then the people who live in that area, they're going to come to them and go, you screwed this up.
I understand that and I agree with that. How are they initially going to come up with money for maintainers, dump trucks, things like that?
It would be my opinion that we give it to them.
Give them to them?
Absolutely. It's their money. They belong to them. They pay for them.
How many dump trucks do we have?
Offhand, 9, 10.
So we're going to go purchase dump trucks and give them to
I didn't say that. I don't have all the answers yet. I just want to continue
Let's continue this conversation.
I want to see, to me, those are all things, once you decide, yes, we can do this, we can't do that, okay, now let's start narrowing responsibility. Let's start narrowing in on how we transfer the allocation of maintainers and dump trucks. I'm just saying, I want to continue the conversation.
And I agree. I think it's a good thing to continue the conversation. So another question I have then is, so if the county has a project that they need done, can they get maintainers together and dump trucks together to do the project, or we wouldn't have any projects. Those would all be. So why do we have a road and bridge?
Well, Mark, you still got to take care of crossroad tubes and bridges.
Right.
And again,
well,
I don't know all the details. I don't have the answer for all the details yet. And how I understand what you're doing. But to me, it's simply, we don't have to reinvent the wheel. I can go down here to Soldier Township or Minoka Township, and I can talk to one of their trustees and say, how have you guys broke it down? And they're going to listen. And I can go to Shawnee County Road and Bridge. I know a guy that works there in management. He can lay things out. He can say, here's what our responsibility as a county is. So right now, what I believe they do is they take care of all the bridges, crossroad tubes. Maybe we take care of all the mowing, and they take care of just maintaining the road and hauling gravel. I don't know what that looks like, but I think it's worth pursuing.
Yeah, like I say, I'm willing to keep talking.
Go ahead, Dave.
What you got?
I'm willing to keep talking to. Well, just to fit this somewhat within the legal context, so we can all be working on the same way. Okay, the way this, you described the setup, and it's a binary almost. You have where the county, where you guys are at, the county controls all the roads and does all the work and has the road bridge. And then you kind of have the opposite, which is the townships have, the townships have control over their areas, and the county's kind of an in-between, but not a whole lot, right? So I represent Soldier Township in Shawnee County, and you just what you described. They have their own budget, their own tax, their own equipment, and Shawnee County works with them when it can, but it's not in the picture at all. So where those two, there really isn't a way that kind of melds those two in the legal sense. So, I think that's a measure of the fact that there's kind of a unification of things, which is, governing authority, governing responsibility, and tax payments, right? So you guys are in authority over everything. You have responsibility for everything too, and then you get all the tax money. If one of those things is kind of missing from the equation, questions start arising. Like if you have a township board that has the authority or the responsibility but doesn't get any money set by however you guys trickle it down to them, is that appropriate? Sure. I mean, they would argue, I think the argument would be, well, we're not, we're being taxed and it's going to the county, but we're not being represented because, whatever. Technically, this township, no commissioner lives in this township. I mean, you live in a township, and you don't live in all of them. Right. So they could say, well, he doesn't really care about us because he doesn't live here. And then he gives us all the duty, but they don't give us the money except what they give us. So what I'm thinking is the method here, and the only method I could think that could work in the concept. I mean, I'm assuming if you don't want to go to the other binary pole that you guys have, which is just give it all to the townships. You guys say, we're going to figure out a way to divide everything up, and we'll keep one truck, a couple things, and that's it. If you don't want to go that route, then it's what's called an interlocal agreement. What that means is you have to get everybody to agree about how this would be broken down. And what you could do at that point is that you could have some functional merging of a couple of townships. There isn't any way I know of that says, without some major things, that you can just make these two townships join together and be one township.
And if that's the case, and you're going to take two townships, instead of a 3-county trustee board, it's a 5-person trustee board. I don't know. I'm just thinking, throwing some things out there, but I think, and maybe Mark, exactly what you said. We go ahead and have these meetings with these townships individually and express, hey, look, go ahead, get 3 people elected, and then there's a conversation. Yes, ma'am.
So if you merge townships,
Mm-hmm.
say you merge Banner and Franklin,
Sure.
everyone that gets elected is a dictatorship? You have
Well-
to elect from both townships?
Well, that's the distinction is an interlocal wouldn't depend upon elections so much. You couldn't alter the electoral side of it, meaning, the merging is a contractual merging, a merging of interest. It's not a merging of a governing body. So you basically say, these two that are going to be our zone A need to meet and agree or whatever to their priorities and tell us. But they still are separately elected.
Okay, because by election standards, we're going to have Soldier Township.
Yeah.
Township.
Yeah. and the only thing, and I haven't ever looked at it, whether in governance wise, whether, these two can merge, and have one board, in what, they're one township, or the joint township, whatever you want to call them. Can townships join together in a governmental method? Because that way, if you have two townships join together, they have one board, and that makes it a little easier. They're just a bigger chunk. And maybe it makes sense because of the way the roads are, and the way the bridges are, and the way the land is.
The thing that I can see a problem with that is no matter what boards you had, either 5 or 7 or 3, whatever. I think what Christie was asking is it going to be a problem, if I heard you right? It's going to be a problem if all of the representation is out of Franklin, or all of the representation is out of Banner, or if 2 are out of Banner and 1 is out of Franklin, you can get voted. That's the issue that I can see with that.
That is a real problem in the sense that I think we can't, for political purposes, once this is joined together, it makes much sense in saying the West is Liberty. I mean, the East half of Liberty is voting one way and the West half is. I mean, you can always cut the county, these things in half, cities, whoever, and they can say, well, they're all getting the benefit, and we're not getting it.
I think to move ahead, let's at least start having conversations with the townships in our area.
I think, and here's my suggestion on that too. I think that rather than individually having the meetings, I think all 3 of us ought to have the meetings with the townships. That would be my opinion.
But I don't know that it may be easier to have each township individually.
Yes.
So just for simplicity, that everybody there is from, I keep using Banner, from Banner Township. And they're advocating for what they want to do in Banner Township. And where I was going was maybe we just elect 3 trustees from each, and we do some sort of quarterly meeting with those trustees. Bring us your concerns about road concerns, and we have that conversation. And then we build those projects off of what we know that we need when it comes to bridges and tubes and ditch cleaning, but then we build those projects off of what they are bringing. I would be in favor of that more than splitting off into actual township districts.
So would it be better say that it's kind of advisory boards, in the sense that you would group, there'd be some natural grouping of these, at least, so you didn't have 15 different advisory boards.
No, I think you have 15 different.
I think you have 15 different
3-person advisory.
15 different groups because they're all going to be advocating for different things.
Okay.
Because just because of the conditions and what they have in their area. I don't know. I just want to continue this conversation. I really would like to look at if we do have a 3-person trustee board elected, all 15. We'd have to have a conversation about Lincoln because of the way it's broke up with the reservation. That's a whole other piece to this. So can we legally our budget and divide that equally among all the townships? To me, that would be easier than Banner trying to charge 50 mills, or a Douglas only has to charge 12 mills. And they're still in an advisory position, possibly. I don't know, Mark. I know that there are a lot of different avenues I think that we can move. I just want to continue.
I'm curious too, though, as far as electing the trustee board, because those are done during an actual election, correct? So those would have to be done We can't just do it at the meeting and say, elect three.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just
I
trying to
think
think this.
we're a year down the road.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
To do anything like that, I think we need to get the details, we need to figure out what we can and can't do.
Yep.
We need to have meetings and talk to people and have the information that Christie would have on what the value of what they would bring in, what kind of mill levy would it mean for them, in their township. I think some of that is going to shock people, and they're going to go, oh, didn't realize that. So they may or may not be
How
interested.
little it is, probably, is that, they're shocked?
Some of them are gonna be quite the difference.
Yeah, because if you take one of the townships that is primarily ag ground versus Douglas down in the southeast corner, where there's a ton of residents. They're generating a lot more revenue down there because of the homes and what they take in versus a primarily ag, you got a township that only has 12 houses in it. I'm just using that as an example. You're not going to have as much money to work with within your township. And so my thought is, how do we equalize that? How do we make that work for everybody? And that's a conversation that I think I'd like to have with these folks, because I think there are a lot of people that they think they want a township form. They believe that it would be better. I'd like to gather that information and present it to them so that they can go, oh, okay, didn't realize that, or yeah, let's move ahead, or whatever.
Yeah,
That's just
no,
my-
I agree. I think every
Is that
conversation
something
is.
that you can?
Yeah, I think I got an idea of the conception of it. I'll double check it so that I think my guidepost here is my past experience. You have the two poles, and then everything else you're talking about is some form of interlocal agreement.
Yes.
And then we just have to kind of meet it as it comes as far as.
And you might put a definition of interlocal agreement, what that would mean. If you're going to do an interlocal agreement, maybe most people know what that means. I don't know if they do or not. But that way, when we have the conversation, if we bring in a township and say, okay, here's what an interlocal would look like, here's how that would affect you, here's what we report, just be able to present information. We're not going to have all the answers, but
So that's
it's starting
actually.
Okay. Thank you.
So you might look at KS 80-1109.
Township statutes.
Pardon?
Township statutes.
Yes.
Christie, how much work would it involve just running just a short report on what each township valuation is? Is that a big deal?
No, I'm just making a copy of the values.
Okay. Then we can look at the budget and what we're budgeting for road and bridge, and we can divide that up and look how that would look, and then try to figure out what that would mean for each township. Thank you.
Anything else, Todd? You got anything else for us?
No, I gotta go upstairs and make the rounds.
All right. I think you're free to go then.
Thank you.
Good discussion today, guys.
Yep.
Okay, has everybody read the minutes of September 2nd?
Doing that now.
All right. And just, Ally, before you go, just as an aside, next week, or this week, the
Yeah, this-
11th, the budget meeting
Yes.
will be here at 7 o'clock in this room.
Yes, I had it on my calendar.
Okay, all right, perfect.
Oh, we'll see how many people might be all the way here now.
There you All right, thanks, Ally.
We'll see you on Thursday, yes. May I ask a question? I noticed you have microphones, and yet when I was sitting there and you talked to each other, I couldn't hear hardly anything this gentleman was saying. And I'm just curious why you're not using them.
I'm on.
Okay. But when you turn your head toward that direction,
I'm on. I can't do anything about that. I don't know what to tell you about that.
okay.
I mean,
Well, when you turn your head and you're talking in that direction, your microphone doesn't seem to be picking it up.
I looked at, I don't know what to tell you about that because if I'm to look at somebody and talk, I'm to look at somebody and talk. I can't not do that.
Could it be in another position and make it?
I don't know where I can put it that it's going
And
to be
what
any different.
about, like, the road and bridge guy? It was really hard to hear what he was saying to you because his voice was being projected back.
Sure. Okay, we'll take that into consideration. Thank you. And could I have your name for the record?
What?
Could I have your name for the record?
Joyce talking.
Okay, thank you, Joyce.
And I think I know you can. And the lawyer also, there were times, I did hear him part of the time, but sometimes when he was, it just wasn't easy to hear.
In this election version, I've got a question. What is a general bond election?
Yes.
No, this, what I'm looking at here is that 80-1109, and it says within receipt of, yes. Well, it says within receipt of townships delivering a resolution from the townships that they want to combine. Within 10 days of receipt by the county commission, it shall call an election notice and called in the manner as bond elections under general bond law in said township. Okay. I'm out of experience. Yes.
I just know that we have townships and they have thousands, because isn't that on?
Right.
But other than that, I've got to do a lot of research to.
So from what I'm reading here, 80-1109 Kansas statute, there is a procedure to consolidate townships, but the townships themselves have to, with their duly appointed members, they shall have to come before us with a resolution saying that they want to combine themselves. And then it has to go out to an election for those townships. So there is a procedure in there to do that. And like I say, the townships themselves wouldn't be us making the determination, it would be the townships themselves making the determination that they want to combine. From what I'm seeing here.
How would the township make that? If they don't have a three-person board,
Well, that's what I'm saying, because this is saying that single township, which may be one of the consolidated townships or new townships to be formed by means of such consolidation, the members of the township board or a majority of them on their respective boards, which, like you've been pointing out, we don't have those boards. The first step would be to have those boards elected, duly elected, to be able to even start this process.
Is
Of
that
combining.
a vote of everybody?
No,
No.
it comes, from the way I read it, it comes to a vote of the two townships.
Right, that's right.
Yes, yeah, two
People in-
townships,
people in
people in the two
township
townships.
vote.
Yes, that's what I'm reading. We'll let Todd do the legal research and everything, but like I say, just
Yeah,
read that
maybe it would-
statute.
maybe it wouldn't require that much trouble if you just had a township trustee board in each township, but we were able to equally divide up the money based on number of miles, however that looks. So that,
Yeah, I mean, that would, there again, that'd be the big rub there, how you would divide it equally, other than just saying split it 15 ways and there you go. I don't know.
and
If you split it any other way than that, I think you have some screaming from different entities, saying that I'm not getting my fair representation and so on and so forth. So that's
I know,
that's for way down the road.
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And I'd like to hear what, I guess I'd like to hear what the people in those townships would think about that. Again, having that information of here's what your value is. If you do it the way the system's set up now, your mill levy would have to be this in order for you to have a dump truck and a budget and those type of things. But if we divided it somehow, based off miles of gravel road, based off whatever, I think there's a way to get there.
Yeah. Yep, that's for discussion down the road. Like I said, there is a procedure to be able to do that, so.
Okay, Christie, on the second page, third paragraph, when Bethany was down here, it says, they, being Bethany and the Sheriff's Department, Tyler Cottle, are requesting consent or search warrants to obtain evidence from phones to assist in cases to access text message, social media. They weren't asking us for those. That's all they were asking us is to purchase software that allowed them to do that.
The question was asked of them whether they were requesting that to search the phones. That was what that was, yeah.
But that doesn't state that.
Yeah,
So I'm going to get to that portion of it.
okay,
They're requesting the software that they're currently having to go through the KBI to get. I asked the question, to use this software, do you have to have a search warrant issued by a judge? And they said yes. But it sounds like they are requesting consent and search warrants from us, and that's just not.
no, you're correct.
Oh, turn records.
So the software they are wanting to purchase Would that track the search warrants?
It's, the software simply reads, is able to open up a phone. Currently, the Kansas Bureau of Investigation has that. Bethany has that. The Sheriff's Department does not. They have to physically take the device to the KDI, wait however long it is. Bethany had enough money in her fund from diversion to pay for the software so that the Sheriff's Department could have it. I simply asked for the public's information. This isn't software that isn't, they still have to have a search warrant in order to do that. And they said, yes, they need a search warrant so that they can take that phone, plug into the software, and download the information.
Little stiff.
Yeah.
You got kids in the times for it.
So if I just say they would need consent or a search warrant to obtain evidence from the phones.
Correct. And if you want, if you want more of a statement, maybe reach out to Tim and just say, hey, we want to make sure that what we're putting in the minutes, is correct and accurate for what you would do in these situations.
And if you want to do that, then we will table the minutes till next week. Are you happy with what that is?
Yeah, then, I think we're fine, as Sergeant Cottle, I think.
Yeah.
Said that they obtained permission or search warrants.
Yep. Before they can use the software.
Right.
I think that explains what they would have to have a partnership.
I've read them, so whenever Christie's satisfied with what she's got, if she wants to do that today, I've read them.
You have to be back in, but you change that.
Are you related to Luke?
My husband is,
Your husband?
let's see, my father-in-law and Luke's father were second cousins or something like that.
Yeah.
The last name spelled the same, but the family was never close, I guess you'd say.
Sure.
But we are E.N. Cochran, not A.N. Cochran. There are A.N. Cochrans, and often our name is misspelled wherever we go. Okay, I just put they would need a consent or a search warrant.
That's okay.
Okay, I put they would need a consent or a search warrant to obtain evidence from the phones to assist in cases to access text messages, social media, education information, deleted data, and photos.
I'm satisfied with that.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, I'd entertain a motion to approve the minutes of September 22nd, or September 2nd with corrections.
So moved. Yes, so moved.
I'll stay.
All right. It's been properly moved and seconded for the minutes of September the 2nd. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say sign. Motion carried. I'm trying to hurry this month along. I noticed that we have an email from Commissioner's inbox from the chamber. They're having a board meeting Does anyone want to attend September 11th at 7:30 in the morning? Dan? All right, I'll skip out on the budget here and go. Does anyone want to attend? Do we have any notes, report on the county that we want to send to them? I can't think of anything major that we're doing. We're just conducting normal business right now, so we'll let that do then. And then there's also on September 10th, there's Kansas Mental Health and Guidance up in Fairview is going to have a town hall meeting in case anybody wanted to attend. They sent us an invitation for that. I'm tied up on Wednesday night, so I will not be there. But it's in our commissioner email in case anybody wants to look at it. So. Kristen, do you have anything else for us? Okay. Maybe you guys got anything else, Keith, Linda? Okay, I don't either. I'm going to entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to adjourn the meeting. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
We're the meeting, you'll have all the documents for Mark to read, what we need to get ready for.
Wouldn't that be one for every meeting?
No, just the budget. I don't believe you wasn't have too many people.
No, I don't think so. I think most of them come from
Let's see.
the big meeting.
Yeah.
So we're having that, the 11th.